They have assembled here from the four corners of the Earth. 55 warships, among them the newest and most sophisticated ever produced. The United States is here, Great Britain, India, Japan, Canada, France, Australia, Germany, 26 nations altogether. Each will introduce the latest naval technology in their arsenals. "22,000 men and women will be tested over the coming month, across a vast expanse of ocean covering thousands of square miles. The command center and flagship of the operation is the nuclear-powered supercarrier, a marvel of modern engineering. The operation is called Rim of the Pacific, the world's largest and most complex naval exercise. It will be as close to actual warfare as is peacefully possible.
Okay.
Come left, steer course 175.
Come left, steer course 175I. Counting off to my rudder is left 2 degrees, coming in course 175.
92 fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters are readied for a month of intense flight ops as demanding as combat itself. Those wearing green shirts maintain airframes and engines. Red shirts are responsible for ammo and weapons.
The Navy as strength. You think of Popeye and you think of a really strong, U.S. sailor that you want to represent yourself as. And I think we all use him as a role model today.
Purple shirts, or grapes, fuel the aircraft.
Aircrew are now manning up for the Event 7 Case 3 launch, Case 3 recovery. The temperature is 68 degrees, the altimeter 2996, and the density altitude 940 feet.
On the FOD walk, crews are looking for anything that might get sucked into an engine as the aircraft take off. Pilots have been killed by almost invisible nuts and bolts. possible technology. Deep in the heart of the ship sit two uranium-powered nuclear reactors. Essentially miniature suns, these radioactive furnaces boil water to create high-pressure steam that spins giant turbines. The carrier's 8 electric generators could easily power a city of 100,000 people. Using massive reduction gearboxes, the turbines also turn 4 mammoth propeller shafts that drive the ship at around 35 knots. Its top speed remains highly classified. With regular maintenance, they can run continuously without refueling for 20 years. Teamwork, collaboration, camaraderie, staying mentally and physically fit are all critical among the crew of a smooth-running ship. Every one of the 5,212 personnel is integral in the success of the operation. No tiny detail is left to chance.
Roger that. Deck control 211 needs to be spun off Cat 1.
Blue shirts position and secure the aircraft on the deck, making sure they are presented for launch in the right order. Training has been continuous since the very first carriers were launched more than a century ago. The battle group commander is responsible for the coordination of all 26 nations during the exercise.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we had ships from
Patience, communication, and diplomacy were not the hallmarks of legendary admirals, but in an increasingly complex and lethal world, they are critical.
And they want to help and give their navies a chance to shine.
Came around on track, sir. Previously reported contacts. Now on our port bow, drawing left. Recommend maintain, sir.
No, I think what I want to do is come a little bit more to starboard and instead of emerging the fog, let's get through this. Come up at speed 20 knots.
So the Japanese on the starboard, and then the Canadians are coming up. They're just behind us, right?
Yes, sir.
The carrier, as the flagship, is responsible for getting 55 vessels from all over the world organized and sailing together in reasonable order.
Military, Louis Webster, Radio Signal. Indonesia, Norway Pacific to America, to 519, 7 hours per day. To Big Beacon, to distance 2,500 kilometers from my QTH, distance 2,500. Gina 100 Tango Sierra, ok, Firenze, ok, molto bene, grazie.
This kind of international cooperation was inconceivable even 100 years ago. By the beginning of the 20th century, the giant guns of dreadnoughts, or battleships, would dwarf the cannons of Trafalgar. As the First World War began, Britain had a significant edge over Germany in both ships and guns, and did not expect to be challenged. But in June of 1916, 250 British and German ships engaged off the coast of Jutland in the North Sea. It would come to be known as the greatest battleship duel of all time. 14 British and 11 German ships were sunk. 8,500 young men were killed. The age of the battleship had come to an end in less than 2 hours of fighting. Modern defense systems are evolving at an accelerating pace, questioning the wisdom of expensive new procurement, challenging the status quo. The goal of RIMPAC is, in part, to test and integrate advances in weapons technology. It gives crews a chance to perfect their skills under battle-like conditions. The operation of an aircraft carrier is, in itself, nearly as dangerous as actual combat, and everyone on board is well aware of that. Modern fighter aircraft, like the F-18 Super Hornet, can lock on and intercept enemy aircraft long before visual contact. Yet they still carry machine guns that look like they might belong on a World War I biplane. Even in an age of advanced missiles, pilots must still prepare for the unlikely prospect of an old-fashioned dogfight. Launching a 37,000-pound F-18 Super Hornet off a carrier may look simple, but bad weather, enemy fire, and accidents all contribute to very real danger. After a century of trial and error, one launch system has proved robust and reliable. Below deck are tanks of high-pressure steam from the nuclear-powered boilers. They provide explosive expansion power to pistons sitting in 300-foot-long tubes, like shells waiting in the barrel of a gun. Once released,